we leave that man alone? He just wants attention.
You just want attention.
Yeah, I do. And that's why I'm in the middle of this circle and you're on the outside, Tarquin. Fuck off.
He's probably forced into what he's doing by Frida Wallace.
Yeah, called my PA Sophia. How old was Sophia Brooks at this point? What is this person doing hanging out with a fucking teenage boy?
Shortly after, I started getting nuisance calls, and I think he was behind it. I don't have any proof of that.
He has been calling me in the middle of the night. He called me repeatedly at Christmas morning last year. I think he called me about 5 or 6 times. I thought it was 11. I don't want to exaggerate. The police officers in my local force have even heard him repeatedly call me because I took the phone down to the police station.
Why am I dancing with that trans person?
This video is like really good timing, actually. I watched a thing the other day by someone called London Storm. And one of the things they mentioned was the whole Graham Linehan, Sophia Brooks thing. And their recounting was just, Graham Linehan harassing a trans girl and then swiping their phone out of their hand, like assaulting them and stuff, giving absolutely no indication of what the other party in this whole dispute was like. This Sophia Brooks person that Peak Trans here has made a video of. And I showed the video of this Sophia Brooks person along with one of their weird middle-aged trans handlers, that being Frida Wallace, harassing this person. There's quite a few videos, in fact, of this Sophia Brooks person harassing people, showing up to like turf events, like trying to so-called infiltrate. So yeah, to me, I don't like Graham Linehan at all. I think he's embarrassing. I do think he's a harasser. But this Sophia Brooks person we need to stop whitewashing this person. Trans people need to stop whitewashing Sophia Brooks. They're not a good person. They're very young. Maybe there's a chance they'll change and realize that the way they're behaving is ridiculous. Not helping anyone, not helping anything, not furthering any cause. And so we have the making of a bully, the complainant in Graham Linehan's trial. So this is Sophia Brooks. So we're going to watch this, get a bit more of an understanding of Sophia Brooks. And hopefully I can illustrate why trans people need to stop whitewashing this person, need to stop defending them, need to stop pretending that this trial was a one-sided thing where Graham Linehan was bullying some innocent trans person. No, it was 2 people who were both idiots bullying each other. That's what happened, in my opinion. Anyway, let's have a look.
Hi, everyone. So, comedy writer Graham Linehan stood trial as a result of a complaint to the police by a young man whom I will again refer to as Tarquin, which is not the name he uses in real life. Graham was found not guilty of harassment, but guilty of damaging Tarquin's phone, and he's appealing that one.
I don't know why he's appealing it. He did damage this person's phone. Unfortunately, people are allowed to film each other in public. So he got found guilty for that and found not guilty for harassment. To me, that was the right decision. By the way, like and subscribe.
I've got things to say about the trial, and in particular, my evidence for it, but I won't say them in this video. What I want to say in this video has nothing to do with Graham. It's about an earlier incident, which I think probably helped to embolden Tarquin to keep harassing people and trying to use the police as his personal goon squad, and succeeding. But the first thing I want to say is that Tarquin may well try to get this video taken down, as he tried with 2 previous videos of mine that feature him. Here is the big blokey bloke who
Yeah, and like, look at this. Like, this person is an innocent trans person. This person doesn't engage in, like, internet shit talk the same way that someone like Glenna does.
As a young girl, calling me delusional and boasting about being able to stop people seeing my videos. A bit pointless, he opines. It's almost as if he's ashamed of what I may show of his behaviour. He succeeded in getting the first of the 2 videos he complained about taken down, and I re-uploaded it recently with the bit showing him edited out, though you can see that bit on my website. And he failed with the second one, which was my...
I've shown this numerous times because it's important people understand what this person is like. And also what Frida Wallace is like. This is the same person who's been like banned from Twitter and stuff for like telling people to kill themselves. This is another person that gives as good as they get. When they whine about people being mean to them on Twitter, they're mean to other people on Twitter. The difference is at least this person hasn't taken any of that shit to court.
My evidence to the court in the trial of Graham Linehan, which I'll talk about next time. But the reason he failed to get it removed is that I told YouTube that it was already in the public domain and had been seen by thousands of people. And because he tried to get it removed, all I had to do was publicise the fact that he'd made a complaint to YouTube about it to get thousands more views than I would otherwise have got, and many more people shared it, and people were uploading it all over the place just to spite him. There's a name for this phenomenon, isn't there? What is it?
Streisand effect?
Oh, the Streisand effect, I think. It's when
I'm a genius.
You're trying to suppress information and that backfires and attracts far more attention than it would otherwise have got. So, a bit pointless, really. But if this one does get removed, I will again upload it to my website and publicise the fact that Tarquin doesn't want people to see it. You'll know what to do.
Hey Tarquin, come after me, I fucking dare you.
Oh, and now his legal name has been in all the newspapers. I could mention it as well, but I'm not going to, because, as a posh bloke, Tarquin suits him so much better than the lovely feminine name that he assumed for himself, and which looks every bit as ridiculous on him as any other accoutrement of femininity would. So this video is about what happened the first time I ever saw Tarquin in real life, so far as I know, which was when he turned up to one of Kelly J. Keen's events at Hyde Park in April 2023. I wouldn't have recognised him even if I could see
I'm human too. I don't go around telling people to kill themselves.
his face, which I couldn't because it was entirely covered by some kind of mask, a ski mask or something. Here he is, and that was the only reason I noticed him at all. And I thought he looked a right wally. I mean, it was Hyde Park, not the Swiss Alps or somewhere. Though, having since seen him without the mask, I have to say he does look a lot better with it on. In fact, he recorded the moment that I noticed him for the
I'm actually not so familiar with like his harassment towards Kelly J. Keen. I guess I'd have to see.
first time. This is a still from his footage. It was really crowded on that particular Sunday at Speaker's Corner, which, as you may know, is a corner of Hyde Park where people go and make speeches about whatever they like. That's been the tradition there for about 200 years.
It was a bit too far with the name thing. I mean, considering this person like shoved a camera in this woman's face with his mate, like trying to intimidate her, I can't really feel bad for a person getting called a different name, you know what I mean? Like, they can dish it out, they can take it. That's kind of how I see it.
Years, I think, and it's where Kelly J. Keen first started having her Let Women Speak events. So here's a few seconds footage of that event on that particular Sunday. I later learned that Tarquin claimed to have been assaulted and that I had witnessed it.
Yeah, there's like another assault apparently. I assumed in the video that she posted, the short, that this person like was referring to the Graham Linehan thing, but apparently there was another assault as well.
And it was all on film. And the reason I want to talk about it is because it's such a good illustration of the dishonesty and hypocrisy and double standards of certain individuals who leapt on that footage and used it to again lie about me and slag me off. I'm going to show this footage now. Again, if I have to edit it out, you can see it on my website. I'll probably put a transcript of this video up there too. Okay, that's a bit quick and very unclear. Let's slow it down. It starts with a shake to Tarquin's phone as he was filming. The guy whose face I've obscured then threw a mock punch which doesn't land. You have to take my word for this, but he's smiling as he does it. He doesn't look angry. He's just kind of larking about, and then he turns away, like it's forgotten. I don't condone any of what he did, even though...
Yeah, if that's the assault in question, that is not an assault. Like, doesn't he say, like, oh, this guy tried to punch me? It's making more sense now. I was always thinking that this supposed, like, assault was the Graham Linehan thing. If it's this, then that's, like, ridiculous. Hang on, let me just find it.
Because when I got assaulted for filming at an event...
No, you didn't get assaulted. You had somebody... No, you did not.
They attempted to punch me.
So he's calling this, if this is what he's calling an assault, then I'm sorry, Matt, you're actually just a liar. Like, this doesn't look good. I can see why they'd say, like, that's not even an assault, though. An attempted assault at best. But if he's just grinning and he's nowhere near and it just doesn't connect, and it was never going to connect, then it's not really an assault. I can see how you'd milk it this way, but it's very dishonest.
And they tried to slap my...
No, you didn't.
That's common assault by beating.
No, he didn't. He tapped your...
Yeah, the stuff he's talking about getting assaulted, this Maria person got, like, punched. This guy has not experienced anything like.
And then he turns away, like it's forgotten. I don't condone any of what he did, even though Tarquin was being deliberately provocative. The event was over. I mean, Kelly J's Let Women Speak event was over. People were moving en masse away from the area, and he was standing there in the middle of the crowd facing most people and ostentatiously filming them close up. To reiterate, I don't condone any act of trying to physically interfere with Tarquin filming. He has a right to do so. Now, I know that according to the law of the land, the word assault has a wider meaning than how I think most people understand it. When you hear the word assault, you're thinking violence to some degree.
Yeah, there's a reason why these people use words like this. They know they can technically use it because legally it might technically include what they're talking about. But what they're talking about in terms of how most people understand the word assault is at best the very bottom end of what it might mean, if not something that nobody, like, colloquially associates with the word assault.
I don't think most people see a tap on the shoulder or a tap on the hand as assault. Whereas, according to the law, you don't even have to touch someone for it to be an assault. You just have to believe that a physical assault on you is about to take place.
Yeah, so the guy that did the kind of the mock punch thing, he did kind of fuck up in that way. The thing with these people, you really can't give them any ammunition because they will fucking... they will take it and take it and take it, and they will use anything they can. So that guy was being a bit stupid, I will certainly say so. And Graham Linehan was also being stupid. I'll say that much too.
If you lay it on thick enough, who's to say that you weren't terrified that you were about to have your face broken? Tarquin laid it on thick enough for that guy to be arrested and charged and convicted of assault, and he got a fine, after which his name was posted on social media. And because some of the cultists, including Tarquin, had started spreading this nonsense that I'd seen it, I looked up the guy, the defendant. He's very respectable, not a criminal type by any stretch of the imagination. And I managed to contact
Yeah, the fact that guy got done for that is, like, crazy.
him, and we had a very brief exchange, and he confirmed that he did not believe in his own mind that he had assaulted Tarquin, and that's why he pleaded not guilty. He honestly thought the charge was ridiculous, and so do I. I found an article on Medium written in November 23, presumably just after the man had been convicted, and it's by Tarquin's mate, the man who calls himself Frida Wallace, this bloke here, and he quotes Tarquin without naming him or showing a photo. He's just the victim, and he says he had just started recording when the man, quotes, came to the side of me and tried hitting my phone out of my hand, and then attempted to punch me. He slapped it strongly in a clear attempt to destroy my phone. He also admitted that he had made a jabbing gesture towards me.
By the way, you'll see it. I don't know if I want to show it now, but like, there's a point when this Tarquin person is at that Battle of Ideas festival, annoying people with his camera, shoving it in people's faces. At one point, a woman puts her hand in the way of the camera. This guy actually grabs it for a sec. Like, I'm surprised they didn't try and use that against him, to be honest.
Me so as to frighten me into leaving and stopping my recording of the event. Of course, we don't know what the defendant said in that trial, but given that the judge in Graham Linehan's trial, given her comments about Tarquin's lack of credibility and truthfulness, I'm taking whatever Tarquin says with a pinch of salt. He goes on, I personally believe he attacked me as...
Here's another thing. I wonder if the reason they're using these like very young people, maybe it's a little bit different when they're like a 17-year-old or whatever, and someone like does a mock like sort of jab towards them. Maybe they're kind of weaponizing these younger people's age. Because if fucking Fred Wallace was there, it'd probably be different, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be someone trying to attack a teenager anymore because he's a fucking old man. So I do wonder if these kids, part of the reason they're being used is because they're less likely to get severe consequences for doing the bidding of these older people, where they won't get the same grace for their age because they're long past that, you know? I do wonder about that.
He viewed me as a vulnerable young woman. As a vulnerable young woman on the other side, he could hit and get...
Yeah, this person, no one's looking at them and seeing a vulnerable young woman, trust me. How can you call yourself vulnerable when you stand in the middle of a crowd filming people? You ain't vulnerable at that point.
Away with abusing. Now, this is complete nonsense from start to finish. As I said, this was after the Let Women Speak event had finished. It would have started at around 1 o'clock and they last a couple of hours, according to Tarquin's own notes made just after the incident, which he helpfully uploaded to X recently. He was assaulted at 15:22 hours. He also says he was watching Let Women Speak. Wrong tense. He maybe had been watching.
Isn't it most of the young ones that believe the most radical ideas? Trans identity makes you more vulnerable than cis women. Well, where do you think they get it from? Look at someone like India Willoughby on X. Like, that person is not young. They are like old as fuck, and they've been trans for a decent while. I think that these people kind of get it from somewhere, and it's usually these older trans people who are like usually decently privileged, actually. Like, they don't want for much. And so they constantly cry victimhood when nothing bad happens in their life. And most of what they cry about is like political esoterica. I think that those younger people, they're learning it from somewhere. And it's people like my age and older. It's like millennials and Gen X kind of people, you know.
Watching it, but it was over by then. Note the very precise timing. He was apparently a police cadet at the time. Police cadets are a teenage volunteer thing run by police, but not themselves part of the police. But it's possible that the fact that he was a police cadet did incline the police more sympathetically towards him. I've absolutely no...
That's possible.
No doubt he would have tried to leverage that fact in his favour. But nobody could mistake Tarquin for a vulnerable young woman, or any kind of woman, actually. Nobody standing in a crowd of their enemies, defiantly filming people, could be mistaken for being vulnerable.
I agree with this.
I think far more plausible would be that it was because he presented as the very opposite of vulnerable that the guy did what he did. It seems to me that man was kind of saying, if you're trying to provoke something, I'm up for it, but I'm only half serious. He didn't even knock his hand hard enough to dislodge the phone from it, and if he wanted to destroy it, he would surely, at the very least, have grabbed it from him. Especially if he thought he was dealing with a vulnerable young woman. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. This video, I'll admit, feels therapeutic to me to get a few things off my chest, but the main point I wanted to make is that having been indulged by the police and the courts on that occasion, I believe Tarquin has been deliberately trying to provoke some kind of physical attack on himself ever since. He's a bully, and it's his way of gaining kudos from other bullies in the gender cult, and it's yet another indictment of just how shit our police have become. That's all. Bye for now.
There we go. That was interesting. I can use some of that. Like I said, it's very annoying to me the way people whitewash people like this. And it very much shows whenever they do that, they're doing it like ideologically. This is the bit he complained about, that he's being shown waving.
One of whom appears to be this idiot known as...
Here's the other thing. Sometimes these people actually do pass decently well when they're like 16-ish. They're only going to get older and pass less as they age. But hey, listen.
As Sophie Brooks, who is basically nothing more than a pathetic bully, desperate for kudos and attention from other...
Yeah, and you can see the colours they're wearing. They used to like infiltrate, like they were pretending to be a detransitioner or something.
The bullies in the cult. He does things like dressing up as a middle-aged librarian from an Agatha Christie novel, perhaps, but wearing turf colours and turning up to Let Women Speak events. Sometimes he is accompanied by his heroes. Sometimes not. At one of these events, Kelly J came up with a far more likely name for him than Sophia.
Can we leave that man alone? He just wants attention.
You just want attention.
Yeah, I do. And that's why I'm in the middle of this circle and you're on the outside, Tarquin. Fuck off.
There we go. Not that this person's a harasser, though. Not that they're showing up to give people shit. So why they would then cry foul whenever someone says anything about them, it's very preposterous. People need to understand who this person is instead of just blindly sticking up for them because they're trans. And yes, that is what's happening. I don't care. They are sticking up for this person because they're trans and not for any other reason. Like, you can be trans and you can care about whatever cause or whatever. You can still understand right and wrong. You can still understand that sometimes these people are not worth sticking up for.
On the day, like, there was that crowd being obnoxious, and then when the event had finished, Tarquin comes up to me and goes, "Oh, Minnow, I've just been assaulted. I've been assaulted." And I was like, really? And then one of his TRA friends was walking next to him with blue and pink hair and lots of piercings in his face. Like, where's a strong magnet when you need one? And I'm like, "Are you with him?" No, we don't know each other. Lies. Because there's footage of them together another time. And basically, so myself, Alex, and Alva Petrie, and Tarquin, we then walked up together, and the TRAs started to follow us, right? So it was the four of us, and then a whole bunch of TRAs.
Yeah, so he used to infiltrate these groups, pretending to be a detransitioner, apparently. Fred's little helper. This is true. This is true. Wait, they wrote a blog about it? Mentioning the Peter Tatchell thing. He got fucking drunk as shit and debated Helen Joyce, made an absolute fucking arse out of himself. Showed off his crotch and fucking talked about his fucking sperm-producing fucking poem or whatever it was. Does it mention? Yeah, it does mention Sophia. Yeah, called my PA Sophia. How old was Sophia Brooks at this point? What is this person doing hanging out with a fucking teenage boy? Aren't they like, what, 18, 19? So what, they're about 17 here? This person's like 50-something. What are you doing? Oh yeah, my PA Sophia, who's a 17-year-old. We're hanging out with together and having like drinks and stuff. Like, oh, it's nasty. Went to a dining rooms for afternoon tea and discussed plans for the week. You're grooming this person. You're disgusting. Where are his parents? Well, why does he need parents when he's got fucking disgusting found family in this fucking not paedophile but not far off? No, Peter Tatchell didn't. There's a debate that this Fred Wallace and Peter Tatchell had against Helen Joyce and someone else. This Fred Wallace person gets drunk as shit. He's standing there, he sat there with like his legs open wearing fucking fishnets and stuff, which is a bit embarrassing when you're like old and fat. Shouldn't be doing that. Getting drunk, talking about this ridiculous poem he wrote about being a sperm producing female or some shit. It's absolutely embarrassing. Like, Peter Tatchell didn't do anything. In fact, Peter Tatchell started getting irritated with this person because he kept fucking interrupting Peter Tatchell, who was supposed to be on his fucking side. At one point, he gets more wine, and Peter Tatchell's like, no. Sorry, Peter Tatchell is like, no. I don't think you need any more. But yeah, it's fucking weird, man. What does a middle-aged man have to gain hanging around with like teenagers? What's going on there? If we hear about some like crazy fucking crazy allegations one day from this Sophia Brooks person once they realize how much they're being fucking groomed, I will not be surprised. Like, they even show it here. They're so proud of this fucking transgender lesbian sperm producing female. What a disgusting freak. You saw that debate. It says he likes to have sex with men whilst wearing fetish clothes. Yeah. Yeah, Peter Tatchell was not too pleased with me. This person is an absolute fucking freak. Free Sarah Jane Baker. Why? Free them for what purpose? This was I think a bit after they'd got recalled because they told a protest to punch TERFs in the face. Yes, they deserved to be put away for that. Fuck that shit. LGBT Alliance protest. Sophia rejoined me. Oh, my teenage boy, my little teenage friend came and joined me again. You're disgusting. Talk to a trans woman. I bet no one came. You see this person. Nah, I'm okay, bro. I'm okay. All this like, oh, this is what I wore and stuff. You're like, oh, look at this. Why? Oh. Took a teenage boy to a pub. Sophia and I went to a pub. What are you doing there? Here he is again. His friend and his teenage mate. Response is 1. All that effort. How many people even fucking read this shit? Nasty human being. Disgusting. Yeah, so this was the thread. There was like this video. We saw him pretending to be a TERF. There's some video of him being like, oh, I got assaulted. Menno, I got assaulted.
Okay, the police are sort of... We managed to get away. The police let us get away. They're in the background, still shouting. Bye, fascists!
Oh, this is the one. Okay. He mentions this person saying that they got assaulted. It was this.
Free speech. Fucking free speech is out.
No, I got assaulted by somebody. No. The police took my details. What does it mean? Who is this purple, blue-haired person?
Oh, yeah, and he's asking who that person is with them. And then we see he's like suddenly on the other side. Groomer and the groomed? Yeah, very much so. Here we go. Listen, I'm fine with calling this person a groomer. They can fucking come at me if they want. Fuck you. You're disgusting. Was it let women speak? All this kind of shit. We'll just let him kind of listen. We get the message. We'll hear a bit more of like his kind of account of this person pretending to be a TERF, and then we'll move on. This person seems to be getting groomed by a bunch of middle-aged troons, such as Fred Wallace, such as Stephanie Hayden, the actual convicted paedophile. Nasty.
And the TRAs are following us. And then Tarquin turns around to face the TRAs. He's got a big adult human female flag because he's posing as a TRA. So he's holding it up. He's actually giving them the middle finger. And he's shouting some stuff, trans women are men or something like that. You know, the stuff that we would say, because here he's identifying as a TERF and he's trying to play the game. And again, I'm looking at him thinking, that's not what we do. So him doing that again made me think, really? We sort of came to a standstill. I think the police were still sort of not too far from us. And then suddenly the police left. And we're like, uh-oh. We walked away. And then the TRA followed us, and then they surrounded us. And it was just the four of us surrounded by these mad people with their noise and their screams. That's when the police came back and let us leave safely, basically. They kept the TRAs where they were so we could leave. And Tarquin came with us. And again, I've got loads of footage of this. All this was pretense. You know, all his TRA buddies knew what he was doing. This is all fake. So for the judge to go, yeah, I don't really believe what you're saying, I'm not surprised. He was an arrogant little shit in court. Like, he's got all these different Twitter accounts going, and he was asked, how many have you got? And he's like, oh, I don't know. And then I got home. That's when I reviewed the footage. And that's when I saw him interacting with his buddies before and quickly ducking away when he saw me coming around the corner with my camera. Mr. Brooks has released a statement of sorts saying that he's glad that Graham was found guilty of criminal damage, and now he just wants to move on with his life. And as for privacy, he's the one going after people. He's the one standing outside the LGBT Alliance screaming things at attendees. At one point, Venice Allen was having a smoke outside and he called her a fascist. It's like he's the one stalking, if you like, harassing people. And he does it in such a way that he kind of just gets away with it. You know, that's something that Graham said in court as well. He's quite clever, the way he goes about it.
Again, how am I to expect that some like teenage fucking kid is doing this all off his own back? Is he not being taught this kind of shit? Surely he is. I don't buy that this person is just extremely clever and this is what they're using their superior intellect for somehow. I feel like they're being like groomed into this shit, but I don't really have any proof. All I have is all these like pictures of him hanging out with various middle-aged TRAs who've been TRAs for a long time. So it just seems likely, you know?
Dusty, thank you so much for your £10 for the Glasgow trip. Thank you. Because yes, that's flight. The flight wasn't bad. This is the thing, right? He's only 18. Changeling says, yeah, he'll be at more meetings sticking his phone in people's faces. Privacy, privacy. But this is the thing, right? He's only 18. How do you get to be like this when you're only 18? You know, is there any hope for someone like him? Like, you'd like to think that somebody would have a bit of a chat with the guy and he comes to his senses, but he's in with a bunch of weirdos, and he's on estrogen. You know, that doesn't help. Another thing he did, I think, is he created some kind of sock account on Twitter, then DM'd me from there, pretending to be one of his classmates and trying to. He was saying, "Oh, I can give you information about this guy," or stupid stuff like that. And it's like, again, trying to win my trust. It's like, how do you get to be like that at that age? I don't get it.
Yeah, he's not connecting the dots the same way I am, but maybe he's thinking it. Maybe he's thinking it and doesn't really quite have enough info to say for sure. But to me, it seems likely. I think a lot of these kids that get in on this like radical activism shit, they're not doing it off their own backs. They're getting groomed into that shit. Most of them, they've been trans for like a small handful of years. They're learning it from somewhere. I'm sorry. Yeah, there was something about him like pretending to be a detransitioner or something. Hang on, let me just see if I can... We'll just get this kind of the first time we met him and then I'll move on, I think.
I have to go back. Oh, so much to do. So the first time that I met Tarquin, I think it's 2022. He was on his bicycle, kind of circling around Let Women Speak. And then some women were talking to him. They stopped him, or he stopped and they talked to him. And then I thought, I'll just have a look. And when he saw me, he went, "Oh, Mr. Menno, I'm such a big fan of yours," or something stupid like that. It sounded totally fake. He's like, "I love your videos." And I just went, "Okay, which one's your favorite?" And he went, He didn't know. And a few months later, there was a protest. Women were protesting at the Hampstead Heath pond, at the ladies' pond section. And he showed up there in a skirt and women's clothes and a suffragette flag around his neck, one of Kelly J's merchandise items. So he was suddenly saying, "Oh, I'm a detransitioner." He was pretending he was female. And then a few weeks after, he attended the Let Women Speak summer picnic. So I was there. It was a lovely day, actually, a lovely afternoon. And he showed up and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a detransitioner. I'm female. I've been on testosterone." And I wasn't buying it. I was not buying it. Something just felt really off about this guy. But if you have somebody showing up who says, I'm a detransitioner, naturally, a lot of us will feel sympathy. Mirjam de Graaf, thank you so much. Hartstikke bedankt for your €22. Have a good one in Glasgow. So I asked him some questions about the effects of testosterone. You know, I thought I'll just indulge him a little bit, right? And I was sort of looking at.
Here's a favorite YouTube video. Well, the thing is though, Menno makes songs. So if someone's gonna like pretend to be your fan, you might just ask them like, oh yeah, which one did you like? I don't know, just to see if they actually have anything. Because he's saying that he felt like there was something off with this person from the start. So I can understand why you'd ask something like that. And when it's songs, it's like, well, you can rattle off a song and you say, oh yeah, I really thought In the Ladies was funny, or like Y Chromosome or something, you know?
The Adam's apple, and I'm like, is that really, are you a female on testosterone? I don't think so. I was listening to his voice and I just asked him a few, you know, specific questions about transitioning.
I don't know. There's a bunch of YouTubers. If I were to say, oh, I'm a big fan of yours, and they were like, oh, which video did you like? I could probably think of something. I could probably rattle something off. Like, if they can't come up with anything, it does sound a bit suspicious. And like I said, he sounded like he was not sure about this guy from the off, and rightly so.
And then his answers were a bit shit, and I just thought, nah, don't trust him. And others that were there, they didn't trust it either. But I do think he got some information by people who maybe did fall for it, because shortly after I started getting nuisance calls, and I think he was behind it. I don't have any proof of that, but they were quite bizarre phone calls where they would say, oh, we're from the NHS, we're phoning for about your upcoming, you know, appointment. And I'd be like, what appointment? Oh, we can't see that here. We can't see that information on the screen, but we just wanted to call you. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a bit weird. You know that I'm coming in for an appointment, but you don't know what for and what date is the appointment and where, you know, oh, sorry, we don't have the information. So dodgy as fuck. And then they said, yeah, we just want to check some information on your file about your gender identity. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And they said that, yeah, because what we have on record is that your gender identity is, and then they used a Dutch word, two Dutch words. So this is all to show, one, we've got your number. Two, we know you're Dutch. We know who you are. We know where to find you. Again, it's that kind of thing. It's trying to intimidate you. And I don't even want to say what those two words are because they're so vile.
Yeah, he was getting a bunch of nuisance calls. I think that's probably about it. So yeah, am I making my point? Like, this Sophia Brooks person, they get this like blind support from moronic YouTubers that because they're trans, that's why they're sticking up for them. Because they're so poisoned against, like, even though Graham Linehan is an embarrassment and acts like a loser and is not a sympathetic character, you can still see like the truth. You can still understand that there's issues on both sides. And when people frame that court case in a way that one side was clearly bad and not the other, it just tells me instantly that that person is like grifting. Either grifting or in a thought cult, or honestly has no thoughts except who's the person that is the same demographic as me? That's the person I'm going to stick up for. It's quite ridiculous. And maybe this Sophia Brooks person, maybe they're kind of being groomed into a lot of this stuff. Maybe it's not entirely their fault because they're young and shit like that. But they've engaged in a lot of bad behavior and people need to stop whitewashing them. People need to stop sweeping for them when it's very obvious that what they're getting up to is not okay. And there's a lot of people that have come out with stuff. There's probably way more material than just what I'm showing, to be honest. Let me just, I'm sorry. I'll have a quick look at this and then we'll move on to the other thing I wanted to look at because that's going to be quite funny. Oh, okay. There is a bit about this person. I'll just have a quick look at this and then we'll move on because I do want to edit this down. I do want to make sure that I have a whole bunch of different stuff from different people. Even if they're all TERFs and you don't want to trust them, there is like truth to some of this shit and this person does not deserve being swept for. And every trans person that is sweeping for this person, they're making this shit worse, quite honestly. So let's just have a quick look.
Let's talk about Sophia, Marissa, Lucy, Tarquin, Dave, Brian. I don't know what his name is, but he's a piece of shit. Let's have a look at him here.
That's why I want to reality. And that takes me to my third point, which is male violence. And in particular, male sexual violence against women. I don't know why those violence by men, but
Don't touch me. Don't touch
He grabs someone's hand later on, so he's okay to touch other people, I guess.
me, is what he says. Don't touch me. Anyway, that's a man. His name is Sophie Brooks, right? That's a man. He's a great big grotesque man. And I'm hoping that some police force comes and arrests me. He's a man. His name is Sophie Brooks or Sophia Brooks or Marissa or Lucy Gould or Dave or Tarquin. I don't know what his name is this week, but he is a absolute piece of shit who, I might as well tell you, for the last 6 years, at least, he has been harassing me. He has been calling me in the middle of the night. He called me repeatedly at Christmas morning last year. I think he called me about 5 or 6 times. I thought it was 11. I don't want to exaggerate. But he called me 5 or 6 times in the middle of the night on Christmas morning. He phones me. He's talked about my daughter, my son. He knows them by name. He, what else has he done? Things that I can actually say publicly. He comes and...
Yeah, is there... I don't know if there's going to be, like, evidence of any of this, which is the one thing. You're going to have to take Kelly J. Keen's word for it.
And surrounds me, like walks around and around at my events and calls me a Nazi. He's mentioned my parents. He's mentioned my husband.
Like, one thing I do find a bit bizarre, the kind of shit this person's been up to, do they report any of this stuff? Do they record any of it and show it to the police? Like, I know I give people shit for the 2-tier thing. There might be a case that someone like this is not they're not taking seriously the kind of shit this person's getting up to. When this is like blatant harassment, if this is true. Like, this is nuts. This is like actually far worse than anything I've seen about this person so far, quite honestly.
He's mentioned all of my children by name. He phoned me recently and he played Countess Records, but he's a man. He's a
That's how it's always. Well, he's a man. Like, as if that's the worst crime. Anyway.
Fucking disturbed piece of shit pervert, horrible man. He tried to infiltrate himself into Let Women Speak groups with women, and what he did is he pretended to be a female who had detransitioned.
Yep, so this part is true, at the very least.
And he got the numbers of women involved in Let Women Speak, and then he repeatedly called them. But Sophia Brooks or
And if this is true, it certainly, like, Menno was very clear that he wasn't sure who these calls that he was getting were coming from. But this would suggest that maybe it was him.
Tarquin or Marissa or Lucy Gould or Sophie Brooks or fucking Dave or arsehole, Brian, Nigel, cretin, Trevor. I don't know his actual
I like how in the transcript it blanks out cretin. Like, okay.
name, but he has been harassing me and my family, including talking to my son when my son answered my phone or spoke on my phone about my...
Oh, if that's true, that's fucking nasty. And again, where's a teenage boy doing this from? Are we really going to say that this person is doing it off his own back? I don't believe it.
Husband and I having sex. Like, he's been doing that for the longest fucking time. Now, I have reported him to the police. In fact, the police have been in touch with me to tell me they know where he fucking lives and what his 15 different names are. And yet he's not arrested. Why? Why is he not arrested? So I thought, if I misgender the royal arse out of Sophie Tark...
Yeah, maybe I'm insane or something, but pretending to be a woman when you're a man, or harassing someone over the phone repeatedly, including speaking to someone's son and talking to them about their parents having sex, I think the latter is probably the worst thing, you know what I mean? So why is he not in prison? Oh, fuck knows. I mean, listen, I am obviously taking her word for it. If it's true, something is fucking wrong here. One thing I do think is that this person might be being used because of their age. Like, because this person was probably like 16 or 17 when he's doing all this, if it's him doing it, assuming this is true, it does kind of sound like probably other people have been putting him up to this kind of shit, you know?
Quinn, Lucy, Sophia, Dave...
Maybe what I should do, I should go on the channel, the trans lobby, and see if there's many mentions of the shit that the person that runs that channel got up to with this person.
Brian, Nigel, Trevor, whatever the fuck his name is, He is a man. He has a penis and testicles. He doesn't have breasts. He has moobs at best. And he is a nasty piece of shit. And he's probably forced into what he's doing by Frida Wallace.
Okay, someone's on the same page as me. There we go. There we go. Listen, we don't know this, obviously. When I talk about this stuff with like Fred Wallace and everyone else, I don't know for a fact. I'm speculating. They've obviously got connections because we've seen it. And it's highly inappropriate, some middle-aged fucking trans person hanging out with a 16-year-old, doing all this like talking tactics and all this other shit, calling this person their PA. Like it's rancid. It's disgusting. Even if it's not as deep as I'm saying it might be.
By the guy that ate his own testicles. I don't know.
Yeah, Sarah Jane Baker was mentioned in that same blog post. So it's possible that this person has been around that Sarah Jane Baker person. That's nasty. What are you doing?
His name is. But all of these, like, he's either been used because he's a teenager and they knew before he wouldn't get in trouble and he's just a fucking simp. He is on, I've got a recording which the police have in which he says that he wants to terrify me by using my children. Like, that's what he's done. That's what he's done. He has said it's really funny. He gets intel on everyone. He gathers information. He's on a recording with EJ Rosetta. Do you remember her, the fucking idiot who everyone suddenly thought was great? Because she said, oh, I was going to write an article, but I didn't think J.K. Rowling was transphobic. And everyone's like, oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh my God, wow, you're so insightful. So there's a recording between him and EJ Rosetta where he talks about how he gathers intel, and she talks about how she used a bloke's children against him in order to frighten him. And
let me just look this up quickly. Enjoy. Here's a story how he came to transition. Story of My Detrans Life by Katie Scarrett, aka Sophia Brooks. So what, did this person come to this EJ Rosetta person to like spin this like detransition story? Is that what happened? Throwing Helen Webley under the bus. I mean, that's a little based, I guess. Oh, and there's this again.
The ratio is the data are there is showing that.
Blatantly harassing people, but no one goes looking for this. They just stick up for this person because he's trans. How nice.
So we have to remember this because it's one reason why we have single-sex spaces, a standard across society and indeed across the world. Anywhere where strangers mix, it's a good, sensible thing. And that was never contested. And yes, it's for privacy and dignity, not just safety. And men also value those things. And typically, for example, don't want a man walking in, don't want women walking in on them when they're having a pee. You know, those new gender neutral with urinals that nobody was asking for. But you
looks like Christian as well. Look at this shit. This is the thing. This person is only going to pass less and less. When they start young, they look okay because they're young. The longer it goes on, the worse they look. Sorry about it. You might as well just wait till you're fucking 25 at that point.
Understand that for women and girls it's even more important. And somehow that fundamental understanding is being eroded now because of some men's feelings. This is terrifying to me.
Yeah, just because of your disruption when we...
Wasn't she the woman who's supposed to investigate J.K. Rowling's transphobia, then couldn't say anything wrong, came out as a TERF? It looks like that's the case. That seems to be what Kelly J. Keane was saying. Kelly J. Keane doesn't seem to like this person, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not interested in that at the moment.
I'm just a volunteer lead. No.
And yeah, I have over 18 hours of recorded calls with this man where he's pretending to be a detrans woman, a story he wrote for me about his fictional transition. I do dramatic readings, ask me for the highlights sometime. I wonder if this person, I wonder what they've put together. Yeah, okay. So they've pinned this. This is about J.K. Rowling. But I don't know how much they've published about our good friend Tarquin. Let's carry on with the video. So we've got more info at least.
Then they talk about how that was a really good thing to do to me. And how using my children, it's really funny, and that's a really good way to terrify me. So that's been going on a really long time. And then the police force goes, hey, this is the police force. We can arrest him. And then they go, oh, he's not here anymore. Oh, well, we've passed it on to this police force. Oh, well, we're going to pass it on to this police force. And it goes around like that. Maybe I should just threaten to do something. Maybe I should just threaten to do that because, you know, All he has to do is go to the police and say that Graham Linehan smashed his phone. Maybe if I say I'd like to smash more than that, the police will knock on my door. And then we can really have some sort of little fancy jolly. But he's been doing this. I believe that he is the
Oh, it didn't come up for some reason. Thank you for following Kayla Lol. Thank you.
same person that sent messages about my children dying of cancer and COVID and what a death rattle would sound like. The police officers in my local force have even heard him repeatedly call me because I took the phone down to the police station. He's a posh boy. That's who he is. I wonder if his father's in the police force. That's what
He was a cadet, wasn't he? Who was it that said he was a police cadet? So maybe there seems to be some kind of connection here. It's all very strange. What she's describing, to have all of this kind of written off, but then this person can get people done for pretending to punch their camera or like for knocking the phone out of his hand when he's used his phone to like harass people. Like it's almost unbelievable, but I can believe it, unfortunately, and it sucks.
I think. Or maybe he's sexually servicing someone in the police force. Maybe he's just a useful fucking idiot. I don't know. I don't know.
I think that's about it for the Sophia Brooks stuff. Yeah, no, I really need to move on. Jesus Christ. There's so much stuff about this person. And like I keep saying, stop fucking sweeping for this person. Stop assuming that they must be correct or on the right side or innocent or something because they're trans. Because I know that's what people are fucking doing. It's not okay. There's not, like, proof for all of this by the sound of it. Like, hopefully I'll dig up more stuff and maybe do even more on this because I think it's important. People need to stop fucking sweeping for this person. Yeah, that's about it. That's about it.